Hey, everybody, and welcome to Lost in the Groove. Today, we have singer, songwriter, and extraordinaire, Leah, here with us. Um, Without further introduction, Leah,
Yes.
how are you? How you doing?
How are you? How are you now? Oh, I'm doing well. I'm having a good brewski do.
Ooh, what kind of brewski do?
Oh my gosh, I just gotta tell you, it's a session IPA, but I just gotta show you what just happened.
Ooh,
I got a
oh yeah, we have a fur
visitor. Little
baby.
baby, say hello.
Hi. Her, she or a he?
Her name is Piku because she's so peculiar.
Oh my god. Well, for any listeners, Leah has a black cat that has little white paws.
Yes, a tuxedo cat.
A tuxedo cat.
hmm
Very fashionable.
I'm obsessed with her. It's There she is. If you're watching, I mean, if you're listening, you don't see her, but if you're watching,
No.
you're in luck.
Yes, you're in luck. You get to see the cute little cuteness with the tongue going in and out.
She's
In
cleaning.
and out.
Okay, okay. I'm not looking at my cat. I'm
No,
focusing
no.
on you.
Cuteness has got to go for a minute. So, question for you. Who is Leah? Like, hello. I mean, I got to be introduced to Leah, like, just for a quick minute. We'll go into that in a bit. But who
Mm,
are you? Like, what's your
mm.
story?
Oh my gosh, it's a long one. I mean, there's a lot
Damn.
of elements that go into it.
We got an hour,
Oh,
honey. Let's make this worth it.
let's make this hour really count.
Yeah.
It all started off in Annapolis, Maryland, where I am from. I'm from Annapolis. I was born in the suburbs. Well, I was raised in the suburbs between Annapolis and Baltimore.
Okay.
I lived there until I was 18, and then I moved to South Florida only for 6 months. And I was like, this place is not for me. I gotta go somewhere else. So I decided let's go out west. Never been there. I mean, I had been there visiting California and such, but I went to school in Arizona. Never saw that one coming.
Right.
And was away from my family and just kind of living the life. I joined a couple of bands in college, just playing around. But I was never very serious about it. It was just for fun, in addition to my biological studies. I was doing environmental biology in school. And I was like, dude, why am I doing this? Why? Why? I don't want to do this.
Right.
And so then I just started gigging. And one of the places I played every week when I got to Florida. So I was in school in Arizona, and then I moved to Florida.
Okay.
My family had all migrated down here from Maryland
Okay.
while
So
I
you
was in
basically you
school.
went from Maryland to Florida, and then from Florida to Arizona, and then from Arizona back to Florida. Okay, I got
You
you.
caught on right away. Exactly. So the journey continues. I just started gigging here. I didn't have any friends or anything. And the place I was playing every Friday night, sometimes like Tuesday night or Sunday brunch and stuff, it was called Grind Coffee Project. It was amazing. I became very good friends with the owner. It's where I met my partner, et cetera, et cetera. Very cute and sentimental place in my heart. But he was
No
like, look,
kidding.
I need you to write original music. Like I need you to play originals. We can't do covers because I don't want to pay BMI or ASCAP or whatever. Like you got to play your own original stuff. It's like, all right, challenge accepted. And it started off where I would have these like 2 hour long sets, and I would just play the same six songs.
Oh my
And like
god.
people weren't mad at it because I mean, who's coming into a coffee shop and hanging out for more than 40 minutes? Oh, I mean, unless you're working on a
Right.
laptop, but it's a Friday night. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. Like, hello. Like, do you even have a purpose of living anymore?
Yeah, are you okay, honey?
Yeah. Like, do you need an Adderall?
Right. So, anyways, I don't know if that answers who I am. I guess that kind of explains a little bit. I think we'll find out who I am
Oh, we
together
will.
through
We
this
definitely will.
interview.
I love that too because like I'm from also like the north. I grew up in New York. I grew up in upstate New York.
Okay.
I grew up in a really like small town that's now quite big, and I did like my bit of traveling. Like I moved to Israel. I went from Israel back to New York, and then from New York I went to LA, and then from LA I went back to New York, and then from New York I went down here to Florida, which I've been ever since.
Wow.
And
I gotta ask you, what age were you in LA?
I went there when I was in my early 20s, so like I was about like 20, 21.
Nice, nice. That's when I was out west too. I mean, I'm just saying. Our young
Just
20s.
Yeah, like it's the best time to go there. Like I didn't have the greatest experience like living there wise, but
Hmm.
there was a lot of cool things that I got from being there. And one of those was the music culture. Because the music culture in the West is so different than what you have even down here in South Florida. It's
Yeah, I
two
think
different
the
worlds.
music scene is so different everywhere you go, and it's like either diehard neighborhood bands that like have extensive friends and family as fans that are like, I'll go to every show ever, ever, or it's like nobody cares, and you're all alone.
Yeah.
I am like a really optimistic person, but I'm also like incredibly clinically depressed. But it's cool. I manage it well, but it leads to my humor being quite
Dark.
yes, but in a funny way.
It's got a twist.
Yeah,
It's like a
like
lemon
it's not
sour.
quite morbid necessarily, but yeah.
The thing about I think the thing about music especially is when you're a creator and you're in this world and you're dealing with these other people that are also striving to do the same thing that you're doing. Especially when you come from a small place, it's really hard for you to stick out. You know,
Oh yeah, the biggest thing is you gotta just accept like no one giving a shit. Like you gotta just it's the same thing with any like entertainment profession. You gotta accept the rejection, the failure, etc., etc. And you come from such a place of vulnerability when it comes to songwriting, and it's like either people are going to connect to it or people are going to give you shit about it. It's kind of like
there's no in between.
right, they're going to be supportive maybe, but like they don't get it necessarily, or they're like, you speak to me, you've changed my world, and I'm like, thank you.
Can you pay my rent now, please?
See, that's a big thing. That's a huge thing that has changed. Like in this day and age, it's so easy that anyone can make music, et cetera, et cetera. But I still take it to the studios and get like studio professional musicians to come in, and like a lot of them are my friends, and so we make out deals. Like, I'll write lyrics and sing on this track if you play bass on these tracks, that kind of deal, which is amazing. But at the end of the day, it's like I still got to pay all my friends and shit. I'm not just making things in my bedroom. And then there's marketing and all that, et cetera, et cetera. And there's labels out there, but from the people that I have talked to, you know, the indie path, I guess, is just a little bit more just, not as corrupt. I
In a
don't really know how
way.
to put it.
In a way. But I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like you've been able to get yourself through it quite well.
Hmm.
You're first off, I mean, the type of music that you make is popular, but at the same time, I'm a 2000s kid.
Hmm.
So it takes you back to like the 90s, like
Yeah.
early 2000s. I don't know, and it's just it's an art form that's kind of hard to come by, and it comes from local sourcing because it
Hmm.
doesn't feel like it's made by Universal Group or by a
Yeah,
large
it's not like
record or
commercial.
label. It's not
Yeah,
commercial. No.
it's more like each song is kind of a project. Like think about it as a movie would be its own entity. Like each song is its own story. So recording it was like, okay, what's the message I'm relaying here and how do I express it vocally? And now how do I match music to the vocals without overpowering? Because I have like a very delicate voice that has a pretty broad range. So like
And
there are times
you're also a strong vocalist. What I mean
yes.
that is you remind me of people like Miley Cyrus, Lana Del Rey, those
Yeah.
type of deep. I don't know any other way of explaining
And
it.
like they probably smoke a lot of weed too.
Yeah,
We all have that
probably.
deep summer voice. Dude, I would love to smoke weed with both of them. If they
I
do, I don't know.
know.
I like never know if people. Today I offered someone a beer and they are straight edge, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry." Not that they give a shit. They're just like, "Nah." But I'm like,
What?
"Sorry."
Who doesn't take a beer? It's like, bro. It's not like it's a Bud Light. I mean, even if it was still a Bud Light, I
I
would
love
take
Bud
it.
Light.
Fucking A, give me a Bud Light right now, bro.
Yeah, an ice cold Bud Light
Oh,
on a
yeah, that's
summer
the best.
afternoon.
Hmm.
Yeah. Hmm.
You can go through like a whole case of them and like still be like, "Yeah, Billy, give me back my acoustic guitar. Like we're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
retune this shit right now."
you're just feeling good. You're like, let someone turn
Yeah,
on the grill. Let's get something on the bobby.
yeah. Get a whole pig out there. Yeah, we'll roast that motherfucker.
Let's roast them. That's funny you say that. I'm talking about a pork roast this week for dinner. So on
Damn.
the topic of roasts today, I'm just saying.
Just, yeah, I mean, like that's one thing where if you're gonna have a cookout and got like guitars playing, you need a whole pig roasted, honey. Like,
Yeah, if you're trying to make a statement,
oh
iconic
yeah.
tradition.
Hmm. You can get
Yeah.
like an American flag, and hang it.
That would take a lot of pride on my part.
Look, I'm just giving you the scenario. What you choose to do with that is your choice and your choice only.
I'm pro-choice.
Pro choice. So
Mhm.
walk me through some of your music. I mean, for how long have you been? Let me rephrase that. When did your first album come out? Great
It was
questions.
COVID. It was,
Damn.
yeah, it was October 2020. I released my first single from the album, Rapidly Rising. I think it was August. No, September was the first single. And then it was October, and then the album dropped. Oh, no, my album dropped 11/11. I remember that. Okay, my album dropped 11/11, so I had the three singles come out before that.
The November 11th.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And I had been already singing, and I had already written these songs like a couple years prior. Like they were probably songs. Some of them maybe were like 4 years old or something at the time. And I actually did record one song that's on SoundCloud called The Fifth Floor, and I did that with my brother-in-law at his and my sister's house, and we just did it ourselves. Neither of us knew what we were doing. We're like YouTubing everything and shit. We're like, why aren't our levels right? Why can't we export the file properly? Like just DIY. But I put that
Pure.
out, and people were like nice and receptive of it. And so then I just worked my ass off and got enough money and was like, all right, I'm taking these songs to the studio. And one of my childhood best friends is an engineer and producer.
Wow.
So it's like I knew I wanted to work with him already. And honestly, I was super inspired because I watched the Jonas Brothers documentary.
Oh my god. Damn, I remember when that shit came out. Like they were
Yeah,
advertised all over Disney Channel. It was so cool.
yeah, and it's just funny. Like they were, and I don't really think that I have guilty pleasures. Pleasures. I was like openly like the Jonas Brothers fucking rock when I was in like 11th grade. It was that one album, a little bit longer. I think is maybe I don't know if that's the right one. That's a song. Anyways, and I've been years. I watched their documentary, and I'm like, yeah, that's my youth, cool. And then after, by the end of the documentary, I was like, damn, they let shit get in the way of their brotherhood. I was like, I gotta record my music with my best buddy. So like all of I was like, dude, it's time. And I just like saved up all the money. I think I called him around Thanksgiving and we recorded it in February. So I like worked really hard. I worked these really weird events. I did like a couple of events in South Beach for the Super Bowl. Yeah, I know. I do I have a lot of weird stories, so we can delve right into that
Oh
too.
my god, yes,
Yeah,
please.
I turned Lil Nas X away from an after party because I didn't know their real name.
Wait,
And
okay, back the fuck up. Back the fuck up. Did you just say Lil Nas?
yeah. And
Oh
this
shit.
was this was 2020. It was the year of COVID, but like Super Bowl's the month before.
Damn. Okay.
And it was just Lil Nas X and I assume a bodyguard. That guy was like super fucking big. And I was working the list. I'm working the guest list at this freaking hotel event. I don't even know. It's like a friend of a friend gets me this job. And it's like a shit ton of work, like 15-hour days every day for a week kind of thing. And I live in Fort Lauderdale, so it's like a 45-minute drive. I was getting home at like 4 a.m. and then like waking up and going back. And so they're like putting me in charge of the guest list on the last night because they're like, you're our you're a girl, like you've been showing such great effort because I'm a stunner. And so I'm like, all right, cool, I'll do the doors. And I'm not starstruck, like because I grew up. My dad was in the film industry, and so I saw a couple of people here and there just growing up, and it was always like, be cool, don't be embarrassing, always play it cool. So they're like, you can't be starstruck or whatever. I'm like, all right, that's fine. And so a couple of people come through, and I'm like, yeah, I recognize them. Oh, that's cool. Okay, come on in. You're on the list. Whatever. So it's dying down a little bit, and I see Lil Nas X and whoever this bodyguard type manager person is walking up, but it was, I don't know, maybe the second year that Lil Nas X was taken off. And I am not very current. Like, smoke a lot of weed and like make a lot of art and do shit where I'm just like in a thousand other places at once. You know what I mean? So like current music and things, I don't know much about it apparently.
Oh my
So
god.
so they're like, they say Lil Nas X's name, which I don't know because I don't even remember. And I'm like, looking on the list. Like, I'm so sorry. You're not on the list.
Oh no.
They're like, the bodyguard, the bodyguard's like, do you know who this is? I'm like, oh, no, you know what? I don't, but is there another name maybe that it could be put under that the
Oh
ticket's
my
under?
god. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god.
And at that point, one of the like higher ups of the event I was working like had seen what was going on, and she walked up and she came in with like the VIP badges, and she's like, "Oh my god, I am so sorry about that." And of course like hooked them up and brought them right into the party, but I was like, I wasn't starstruck. Like I didn't fuck up in that way. I just so happened to not know who they were. Whoops.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's like, can you?
I'm like functioning off of 10 espressos and like 3 hours of sleep.
Oh
I don't
my
know who
god.
I am
Oh
anymore.
my god. Jesus.
It was a funny party. Nick Lachey. Do you know who Nick Lachey is? You're young. Do you know who that is?
No, I'm not into that much of modern music. I'm sorry. I know.
No, Nick Lachey was from a boy band in the 90s, early 2000s, 98 Degrees. They were like the level C, and then you had like NSYNC and Backstreet at level A. And 98
Okay.
Degrees was like not as cool. But Nick Lachey married Jessica Simpson, and they had a reality TV
Oh.
show.
Oh
And
my god.
like my favorite thing from that TV show is Jessica Simpson thinking that tuna of the sea was shredded chicken inside of the tuna can.
It's Jessica Simpson. I wouldn't be surprised.
She's incredible.
She's incredible, but like, if you, okay, this is my funniest moment of Jessica Simpson ever.
Mhm.
It's when she's approached by a dog, okay, a poodle, a white poodle, and her response is, "Ooh, that's fluffy. I wonder what you do with it."
She's like, do we turn it into a blanket, stuff a
Like,
pillow?
what is this? Like,
Where did she say that? Like that's just a little video on the
no,
internet?
I was like bored online, and you know how you have those dumb people that are like, "This will blow your mind." Like, incredible fact. Did you know that Jessica Simpson was once cruel to dogs? Like that kind of shit. And I'm like, that,
Oh yeah.
I love those. They're probably so not true, but who cares?
I can't believe anything on the internet anymore.
No,
What's
no,
the
it's all.
latest thing called where they're doing the face on top of people? Face.
Oh
It's like face swap but real.
oh my god, they're doing it with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Tom Cruise, of course. Those are the
Yeah, yeah.
two
That's the
biggest
first
ones.
one I saw was the Tom Cruise one. So that I'm like, I can't trust that anything's real because I feel like now that they can do that, they can do anything.
Well, the funniest one is they replaced Annie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh my god, that is so fucking funny. It is hilarious. Like Annie, but it's the face of
But the
him and
face,
the
that sounds
face.
very disturbing.
It is. It will leave you with nightmares. I'd probably say like anywhere of the ages of 12 and up would be preferable because
Oh, okay, it's that
yeah,
bad.
yeah. Because it's
I'm pretty sensitive, so
yeah, I mean, because like imagine it's like a 40-year-old man on an 8-year-old child. It's kind of wrong.
I gotta show you something after this.
Oh my god. I told you this groove girl goes
Girl, this
anywhere and
groove.
everywhere.
Okay, so tell me, what
Yes.
guitar were you playing when we first joined our call? What guitar is back there that you have?
This one. Uh, well, her name is Bessie, and this is a Yamaha 4325D.
Oh, nice. Dreadnought.
Yeah, so it was $189 when I bought it.
Nice. What
It's
did
a,
you get from the store? What did we get for you? You got another Dreadnought, didn't you? The
well,
big body?
yeah,
Yeah, we did.
yeah, the Alvarez.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The
Yes,
electric with the pickup. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about that for a second. So I went in a few weeks ago to get that guitar restrung, and I came in, casual thing, and then I decided I want to look at guitars. So Leah over here was helping me out, and she's like, "Oh, you could try that. Oh, you could try this." I was like, "Okay, cool, whatever." And then she was like, "You can go into this place that's like a silent room, and then like you could try them out." And I was like, "Okay, this is really cool." And then I did that, and then I was like, "I'm getting a guitar." I was just like, "This is so cool." And then we started talking, and then I was like, "What do you do?" And you were like, "You play instruments too." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "What else do you do?" I'm like, "Well, I also sing." I'm like, "What do you mean you also sing?" You're like, "Oh yeah, I'm a singer." I'm like, "Okay, do you have some info or something?" And then you gave me a card, and then here we are now. This is
Here we
like,
are.
what the fuck?
I don't even know. Like time has just flicked by like this. Flicked by. Ticked
Yeah,
by? Perhaps ticked by is a better
tick
way of
by.
saying that. Yes.
Yes.
It just pitter pattered its way so fast. I mean, what was that? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
A month ago? No,
3 weeks
3 weeks ago.
ago. Hmm.
And here we are.
Yeah, crazy.
Lost in the groove.
Lost in the groove, and it's like it's kind of crazy because I I started listening to your music, and I have a few favorites. So I follow through, and I think follow through my moon is probably the two of my favorites. But there's another one that I have as well.
Just a dream. I saw you send that message and I was like,
Hmm.
that is so cute. Thank you.
But
Yeah.
it's so hard to make music now that's so unique and genuine. And then when you do have that, I feel like you're somebody that like appreciates and like wants unique music.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not going to try and make something that everyone else is generally trying to make sound wise. Like, there's a lot of popular fads in music right now. And I feel like there are some elements I take from modern sounds, sure, but at the end of the day, I want like beautiful vocals. I want groovy bass lines. I want like intricate percussion. My percussionist is incredible on all my recorded music has the same studio band, and his name is Chris, and he is just like one of the most talented people I know. And but it's
Drummer's
like,
really good too.
yeah, so I want everyone to be, the songs I make are just a bunch of people doing what they do best on something that I brought together. And they are like just taking it to the next level. And then those songs are what they are. And it's like, to me, I'm a big fan of storytelling when it comes to writing songs and listening as a listener. I think Jack White does a very good job of storytelling in his music. Same with Brandy Carlisle.
Dolly
You take like,
Parton, Johnny Cash.
exactly, the list goes on and on. And I think as we have progressed, people have stopped giving as much of a shit about lyrics. Like a lot of the things you hear, you're like, dude, why is this getting the plays? You know? Because there are a lot of artists like myself that really do hone in and specialize on the art of storytelling as songwriting. And a lot of the emotion comes from the different melodies you have on various instruments. You think about like Follow Through, for example, it's so emotional. Lyrically, it's just simple, short, sweet, and that
Catchy.
the lap steel guitar is what really gets you in that, like, it's almost like an ethereal dreariness, but there's some like glitter
Euphoric.
that shines there too, where you're like, there's some optimism hidden underneath this bad situation.
Follow
So
through.
yeah, follow through. You gotta follow
Yeah,
through.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I think one of the coolest things that I got to experience was your love of music stems also from like your love of instruments. The fact
Mhm.
is, like me as a newbie guitarist, which I'm pretty terrible on a guitar. I'm not that great. But you being able to connect with me and being able to like understand what a guitar is because you play one and sharing that with another person because you're connecting and doing that, allowing somebody to try something else new, trying a different guitar, trying a new experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very interesting like approach for yourself because not only are you a musician, songwriter, and artist, but you also work with music as a
Yeah.
living.
Yeah, it's really cool. I just got these new business cards in. Oh yeah. It's probably backwards on the camera, but the shop that we met is called Penny Lane. So that is
Penny Lane
where,
Emporium.
yes, Penny Lane Emporium. And I like to relate it to Harry Potter, Ollivanders, the wand shop, making sure everyone has their perfect wand. I like to make sure everyone has their perfect instrument. So it's like, I'm not trying to make a big sale or anything. If you're just here to learn, I'm going to tell you everything I know. And I don't know that much. You ask my coworker, Russell, that motherfucker know everything. And Armando, too, the owner of the place. It's like this amazing store I just happened to be lucky enough to score a gig at, you know? And people come in and they ask the questions that have me ask the questions, and then we all learn so much together, and it's a really cool environment. And so when you came into the shop, I was just like, so what are you trying to, like, what's your goal here, you know? And you hesitated on getting the electric pickup on your acoustic. You're like, I'm not going to be playing in front of anybody or anything, so we check you out with the regular standard acoustic. And then what happened after that,
And
David?
then I was like, I called up a friend, and then she was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? It's $100 more." She's like, "Go back to the store right now, turn your car around, and go back there and change it." And I
Yeah.
didn't do that. I called you up, and I went there on Monday to redo it. But it's time. Like I've had this guitar since I started in 2021. That's how
Oh
long
my
I've been
gosh, so
playing.
you're super beginner. That's only 2 years.
Yeah, two,
Oh,
two, two, two. But I it's weird also because like I'm a very big lover of songs that have electric guitar. Like I love punk rock and alternative and metal and indie and freestyle. Um and a lot of these genres all have electric guitar, but I have a very strong love to guitars because of the way of like strumming of like Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton, John
Americana.
Peck, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I don't know. It's another experience of playing an instrument and knowing what you're doing, but there's a difference of understanding that it's a living thing.
Yeah. The music itself is a living thing. You create it. It's like, it's so weird to me. I would say my number one specialty in the music realm is the lyrics I come up with because they are so oddly present in my brain. Like, you give me a topic, or I'll just be lolling about taking a shower or whatever, and I just come up with these licks or these lines of lyrics that are just like 2 lines, and I'm like, oh, I wish I was recording right now. That was amazing, you know? And it's almost a sense of improv. It's like you just kind of hear a little and then you just, yeah, like something pops up in your head. And I forget why I brought that up.
It's okay. We're stoned. This is the purpose.
Yeah, that's the basis of its appeal.
Ah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
But more than that, like it's being able to find out what you love and enjoy when you get inspired by something. I'm the same way. Like the way that I create music is I recently started writing a song called Human Being.
Okay.
And the like one of the lyrics that I have in there is we're made by gods in the sky. So I was like, the first part was like, we're made by gods, and then I'm like, in the sky, we're made by gods in the sky, and it just like putting those together and making them like work.
Uh-huh.
It just added more to it. Um, I kind of figure it out as I'm going through it.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. That's the whole process. You don't just know it right away. You're just like, let's see where this goes.
So how does your writing process like right now? Like how are you making your music? Like you're saying you're being inspired, but what exactly is inspiring you to make this music?
Life. I take everything from like the real life really, I would say relationships in my life, and
Okay.
all of them, not like necessarily romantic or family. I have songs I've written about friends, a specific friend, like, it's whatever kind of is on my mind when I have the time to sit down and be like, let's noodle out something real quick.
So you're like very in the moment when it comes to your music. So when you were saying like present, you mean that is how you make your music.
Yeah, I generally write really fast too. Like, I've written songs within 45 minutes, and they'll be like 3.5 minute long, like full songs. I'm just
Wow.
like, yeah, that needed to come out, I guess. Yeah, follow through was like that. I think I wrote that in like one little afternoon. Same with Rapidly Rising. I wrote that in one night.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
This
like
it's a lot
super
of
talent.
spending time by yourself. Like, if you
Okay.
don't you have to be super in tune with being alone and like seeing what comes of it. And I once asked my friend who's in a band, who's older than me and had been successful for a while. I'm like, dude, I'm having writer's block. What do you do to finish these songs? And he was just like, you straight up just have to lock yourself in a room and like no electronics, just make the music. I'm like, okay, find the time. All right. And I did. And it was like, I would just go airplane mode on my phone because I would need my phone to record the voice memos. And then I would write like that. And now I'm just so fucking busy. So I gig a lot. I work at the music shop. My sister's house got fucked up from the flood that happened 2 months ago.
She's in West Florida.
She's off 95, like in Fort Lauderdale. So they got all of that by 84 is the exit. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I know what
uh,
you're talking about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So a lot of neighborhoods back there, she had to get a full reno, like their whole house. They haven't been living at home for 2 months, et cetera, et cetera. Like today, I was painting my niece and nephew's bedroom, like trying to get them ready to move back in.
Damn.
It's like there's always something. Like, I'm just a very busy person, so the writing comes a lot of the times if I have a couple minutes in the morning. But I also really like doing other things too, so it's hard. Like, I try and find the balance. I'm just surrounded by music though, so it never feels like, oh, I haven't been writing. It's like, if I want to write a song, like, I can sit down and do it. It's just I'm kind of doing a whole bunch of other shit too right now.
So it's kind
Uh,
of like you having yourself present in that moment. Kind of just going back to that as well. There's different types of songwriters and creators, and you're one of those type of people that like you have it constantly around you. Like there's nothing holding you back.
yeah, no. It's constantly on my mind, and I really like the artists that conceptualize albums and do like theatrical things. Like Lady Gaga is a great example of that. My Chemical Romance, people who have like whole stories inside of an album. I'm just like, that's a lot of work. My songs are all kind of like one hitters, and if they work together on an album, great. But they're all kind of singular little guys that I just release into the world.
It's like the Seven Dwarves, you have dopey, sleepy, bashful,
I
different
got a lot of
flavors.
dopies.
A lot of dopies.
I can't believe we're only halfway into this. Do we have a commercial break?
No, we don't have a commercial break. Unfortunately, we don't have any advertisers, but we do have the love and support of our audience. And I do want to point out like the big thing about being local and like supporting your local shops, such as like Penny Lane, which by the way, I have to admit, I think is like one of the coolest guitar shops. in
It
Fort
is very
Lauderdale.
cool. We have the largest collection of banjos in the state.
Damn.
We're a specialty Americana acoustic store. So mandolins, banjos, guitars, and ukuleles are our
Ukuleles.
specialty. Yes, which is really cool. But we've been doing consignment too. So like people will bring in really cool shit. We just sold it's called a voodoo juju was the guitar name. It was a Gibson Les Paul body with a swamp ash body, which was like a red driftwood looking piece of a body, honking thing. And then it was the body of the Les Paul guitar,
Mm-hmm.
the electric. Oh my god, that thing was so fucking cool. We had it in store for a week, and then Russell, the coworker, put it online on Reverb, and it sold like within the hour. Putting that shit on, and so we got a lot of cool random things like that. We had a
That
Kurt
must have
Cobain
been like an
Jaguar that
eight.
came in.
That
Yeah.
must have been like an $8,000 guitar right there.
No, it was used. It was 3 years old, and it was 14.99. Yeah,
Wow.
1,500 bucks. It was a great
I'm
deal.
thinking
We
something
just
else.
sold well, so it was a Gibson Les Paul, older body. I don't know how many they made, if how long they had that body, how many years. Because sometimes they'll do like the same make for 3 years or whatever. It's kind of like
Well,
cars.
old Gibsons, like one of the hot commodities people are going after is old electric Gibsons. We're talking about late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
Some of these guitars go for 10, 11, 14, $15,000.
Don't I know it? We have we got a guitar in that it's really sad because I can't remember like what make it was, but it was an acoustic guitar from like no, it was a Stratocaster. It was like an original Stratocaster from the
Wow.
60s, and someone had done like a horrific setup on it. And Russell, when we got it in, was like, if this guitar had just been left alone, or whatever, it'd be like a $25,000 guitar. But since someone fucked with it, it's like maybe if we set it up nice now, we could go for like 10. Which we have actually like a lot of instruments that are around that price point, which is very cool. But also, when you get those shipments in and you're handling a $10,000 mandolin, you're like, oh, very, very careful, both hands.
Yeah, because like you drop
Like,
that
don't drop
shit
it,
and
don't
break
drop
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, like you're gonna be paying for it. Oh
yeah.
my
That's
god.
why whenever someone comes in, we got to be like, I have to get that for you, honey. Like, sit down, sit down. Let me get
No.
that.
Yeah, try telling that to a stoner and a person that's dyslexic and has ADHD.
No, try doing it to just an asshole who thinks they can do whatever they want.
Oh my god.
Yeah. There's people
Damn.
who like genuinely are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't realize." And then there's just people who are like, just like jerks about it.
Well, like at the same time, the thing is like just like respect, because why guitars are priced more is different than when you like buy a watch, okay, or like a
Yeah.
Bentley. Right? When you buy a guitar that's expensive, there's a reason for it. And I
So
feel
many reasons.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like older electric guitars, people get it because of the sound.
Yeah, the sound a lot of times you can only get with age. Like wood, the sound of wood changes over time. It's so funny because we have this thing inside the shop called a tone traveler, and it sits on like the bottom of your guitar strings where the bridge is here, and it like reverberates a little bit like a little wave like this, and it basically speeds up the process of like aging your guitar wood. So it's all about like finding the tonality and making it like as buttery as can be. It's like honing in. It's aging. It's curing. It's curing. It's aging.
Yeah, so this is like the goals that you want to do when you're like a superstar
Yeah, when you have three
instrumentalist.
hundred dollars to drop on that,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
100%. Like, yeah, $300,000 on a guitar. Yeah, sure. Sign my Barbara Streisand. Yeah, give it to me. Let's
Yeah.
go.
We have a guitar right now that was like, I want to say like Okeechobee Fest, I think. So
Okay.
like all the acts that came through Okeechobee signed it, and it's like the most random group of people. The only one I can really make out is Skrillex, but it's like also on there with like it's not Tom Petty, but it's like someone equally random to be like on a guitar with Skrillex. It's in the display case. It's like think it was a Gretsch body,
I
but
think oh, I
like a
think I know
nine
which one
thousand
you're talking
dollar
about.
guitar. Yeah.
It's so weird because it's, like, all sharpied all over the place, so, like, you could
It's
only
all
read it.
just signatures, yeah, I
It's
know.
all signatures, like, you have to, like, look at it, and I mean, if you wanna talk about a cool guitar, this is just, like, a dream of mine. Imagine you have a guitar, like you like a Gibson, and it's signed by George Harrison.
Ah, I love George Harrison. I think you and I both we bonded over George Harrison
I
at
love
the
George
shop. I
Harrison.
think that's what we talked
Oh my
about, yeah.
god. Ah,
'Cause yeah, I was like, "Well, what kind of music do you play? Like, what are your goals?" kinda thing, and you were like, "Well, my influences are," and I think George Harrison was the first name that came out, and I was like, "Ding,
yeah.
ding, 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 ding."
Well, George Harrison, his I can't do the chord progressions he does because he's very I think he learned his chord progressions in India. So they use I think it's called a sangri. It's a looks kind of like a guitar, but it's more wavy. So
Interesting.
the way that they was told us by a guitar teacher in India, they play guitar very differently than we do. They play it where they wiggle the strings is a note. So what happened was when George Harrison experienced this and he fell in love with Indian culture and went through his whole journey throughout the 70s when he was addicted to drugs and shit, he found a love for that type of music. So if you're a fan of his stuff in the 80s, which I do, it's very spiritual and it's really great when you just need
Yeah.
your time for yourself. Um you can hear the elements of that Indian culture, the way that they play their instruments in his songs.
That's so cool. I will have to listen back and keep that in mind. I had no idea there was an Indian influence behind there.
Yeah, like he was a very big supporter and like believer of bringing back to the earth. A lot of people don't know this. He used to bring you remember the ones he used to go to the airports? What are their names?
What?
Ones
What airport?
you remember we used to go to the airport and he had those like Buddhist monks. They used to give you a flower.
I
You have
have no
n-
idea what you're talking
you have
about.
no
I
idea.
want to experience it though. That sounds
Uh
nice.
no,
Tibet?
this
Wait,
is
where are we talking?
this is like no, this is like a few years ago. They were like banned in airports or something now, so that they're not allowed to be there. But make a long story short, George Harrison, he used to hang around these people, and actually, like when they used to do recordings, they used to hang around the recording studios on on Abbey Road, like so
Uh,
you can see some of the documentaries, and you can see these people just sitting there, and they're dressed as monks, like in the middle of a beating Beatle recording session. It's crazy.
but my question is, were they really monks?
I don't know if they're monks. I forgot what they were called.
I like it both ways. If it's just people in costumes or if they're real, I think both ways are cool.
But I just like loved the influence that he had with that type of music. I just what I love is influence. I love the influence of how these artists take their instruments and create something out of it. They create their own sound and feel and even emotion.
That's exactly right. I have to just say, I see your tattoo. Is that Twix, like the candy, or is that a cat?
It's a tattoo of my cat. Here.
And your cat's name is Twix. Oh my god. That's a great tattoo.
Thank you. I got it done
Yeah.
in Fort Lauderdale.
Fort
Shout out.
Lauderdale?
Yeah, Fort
Sorry.
Lauderdale. I think it's called True Love. They're on 17th Street.
That's where I didn't say that.
You did not say that.
I I love that area.
Yeah, I love that area too. Yeah.
Lost in the groove.
Well, here's the rule. Fort Lauderdale is massive, so good luck
Yeah.
trying to find anybody in Fort Lauderdale or Hollywood or
Yeah,
Lauderhill
yeah.
or Lauderdale Lakes or Margate. I can keep on going and
Yeah.
going and going.
Also, I'm a real tough cookie.
Yeah. Remember, this is also a state where guns are now officially fully legal. So trust me, if you go on somebody's lawn and you're trespassing, we will pull out a gun and shoot you. This is Florida.
This is Florida, after
Yeah,
all. Anything goes.
anything goes here. Self
Mhm.
defense, okay, bro? Like,
Oh gosh. I like the chain in. I took the chain out and putting it back in.
Wait, what is on the chain? I want to know what's
You
on
would
this.
like to know, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would like to know now. Like you put it back. Like I could have noticed this whole entire fucking time, and like now you put it back, so now I don't even know.
You're never gonna know. I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Okay. Oh my god. Ooh,
It's just an L.
it's just an L. Oh, it's just an L for your name.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of, Sex in the City.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Sarah Jessica Parker. Her character Carrie has a Carrie necklace.
She sure does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that. I mean, it's not like your
It's
full
like,
name. It's not your full name.
simplistic,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's simple. It's like it's not like full name. It's just L.
I'm, like, kind of narcissistic.
Right.
Carrie's
Borderline.
full on narcissistic. I'm a little bit
100%. Yeah, that show is like, aren't these just the real?
iconic.
Yeah, they're like the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I'm like, "How do you afford this? How are you so rich?"
First off, great
She's
sex.
like, "Haha, put it on the credit card." I'm like, "But do you ever pay the credit card?"
No,
Carrie, whose credit card?
I think there was once a time where you could take a credit card and that could pay another credit card and that could pay another credit card and that credit card can pay that other credit card.
And all
So
the while you're putting it under someone else's name. It's like somebody's 74-year-old grandmother.
yeah, exactly.
Loretta, she has no idea.
No idea. Yeah.
But then, it goes on to Loretta's children after Loretta dies eventually.
Yeah, and then like looking on their, the will, and they're like, who the fuck is this person? Like Simmons? Like, I've never heard of this
I
person
never heard of
before.
this person.
Yeah, like, did grandma have a person that had this name that took so much money?
Grandma had a secret family.
Oh my god. Whoa.
Yeah, no, sorry. Grandma always has a secret family.
Grandma, oh yeah, can you imagine like in middle of Nebraska and like nobody knows?
No, they were like mold children. They lived in the ground
Oh
like
my
Kimmy
god.
Kimmy Schmidt.
They live in the bunker, like with this
Yeah.
like Jehovah's Witness
No.
priest.
Oh no. Oh no,
Okay.
I hate that for them. I hate this.
This
Get
is
out of there.
no, this has
Get out of there.
stop,
Get
stop.
out.
This trip must end. No, actually, this trip is. I
It's still
love.
going.
I feel like a song is being born.
Isn't it always?
Yeah, Grandma.
Grandma. Sweet Loretta.
Oh my God, sweet Loretta.
Darling Loretta. Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Like I love music, and of course, it sounds like you'd like music too. Obviously, what kind of music do you like to vibe with? Like, get into? Like, what is Leah's podcast? If you
My my playlist?
playlist, like, what's your dream playlist?
Oh god. I have playlists for a lot of different things.
Damn.
So there's times when I can't listen to any vocals, so I go a lot of the times for acoustic jazz,
Okay.
guitar,
Okay.
like Charlie Bird is one of my favorites. Charlie Bird, Joe Pass. Those are my go-to standards for the instrumentals. But like I listen to rap, I listen to indie, I listen to like hardcore. Turnstile's latest album was like my favorite thing of the last 3 years. I guess it came out like 2022 or something. I don't know when it came out. Their last album was like rocked my fucking world. Actually, they were in the studio at the same studio I was the first day that I was recording my last couple singles, and I was like, there I was starstruck. Not with Lil Nas X. I don't get starstruck with that. But Turnstile, the hardcore band, came in, and I was like, my friends who have videos, like I'm recording my own shit, right? They're just rehearsing for a tour they're gonna do, and they're like really getting big at this time. But they're a local Baltimore band, which is where I'm from, so it's like, oh yeah, this is very cool. And we're having our lunch break, and I hear the band rehearsing, and I'm just like outside the door trying to not be creepy, but like singing along and like half
Right.
dancing. But they can't
Yeah.
see me. It's behind like a wooden door or whatever.
Right.
But like, of course, my fucking best friend, engineer Nate, is like sitting there filming me, filming me dancing to this. I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
it's like the nerdiest shit. I'm like, please don't ever share this with the internet.
And of course, he shared it with the internet,
Oh
and the
yeah, on my
rest is.
birthday. Yeah.
That was
Of
so.
course.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Yeah, my best friends and I, our favorite thing is to be the most embarrassing we can.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah,
High
because
face and all.
it's just really showing your true colors. And if you're not doing that, what's the point? You ain't living. So the point is, I met the band too. I fangirled crazy hardcore because Daniel Fang is like the cutest person I ever met in my whole life. He's the drummer. Oh my god, look him up. Anyways, why I brought that up too.
Well,
Forgetful.
because when you think of a cute drummer,
Mm.
it's important. I mean, the band could suck, but if you got a cute drummer, you're good. Good, bro.
I'm not vouching for that. You can be hot as shit, but if you suck, you suck.
I'm joking.
Good. I'm glad that you changed
No, no, no. I'm not.
I'm like, if you suck,
I'm
you suck. That you can be happy. If you suck, you suck.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can be the greatest, most hottest band ever, but if you suck, you could definitely not be famous. But then again, there are
But if you
things.
suck, you're gonna be famous if you're hot enough.
Right, exactly. Isn't that
Insert Nick
twisted?
Lachey. 98 degrees. You have to listen to it. I wish I had my phone, but I put it away
I
so I wouldn't be distracted.
well, I have my phone right here, which is the ultimate distraction. I know
The
I haven't
ultimate
turned.
I don't. I can't.
Yeah,
My
I know.
phone. So many people be blowing that shit up. I'm like, put it away. Out of
I
sight, out of mind. Doing fucking like Beyonce dance over
well,
here.
this is the thing that I love about podcasting too, because it's an hour away from electronics. Even though we're on a computer right now recording this, but it's where you're interacting with a person instead of interacting via text messages, and via social media. It's so hard to be genuine, and it's so hard to be there in the moment,
Hmm.
and be present because we have so many distractions that are in front of us. I think that one of the things that we're learning as artists now more than ever is focusing on the details. It's not a bad thing. And it's not a bad thing to take your time. Don't rush things because of links and social media and advertising and because of what's, selling hot now.
Why be like everybody else?
And you could be fucking weird. Yeah.
See, I feel like I've just been hanging out with a buddy this whole time. I keep forgetting other people are going to listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, if they've reached this point, I mean, if they're not stoned, high, or baked, or fell over with ice cream still over their face,
Oh, that'd be good for them.
yeah, good for them. I hope it's Rocky Road. That's my
You
favorite
gotta
flavor.
brush your teeth. That would be my other thing. I'm
Yes.
a very responsible person. I'm a very responsible pothead, I would say. Clarify.
I say that, but then I'm not at the same time.
Do you floss?
Yes.
It's pretty responsible. Don't you think?
Right, I guess
I'm
I'm.
like, that's all it takes for me. Come on.
Oh my god, like low standard. No, no, quality
No, no.
standards,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
quality standards.
Quality. Safety first.
Safety first. Like, okay, so this is something that's really crazy. This like recently happened. I have to share this with you. Um, I'm like changing out my car right now because I have a Rav4, I have a crossover,
Okay.
and I'm in the process of getting a 2011 Ford Mustang, which I'm naming her Bullseye. And
That's very cute.
and she's a convertible too. On top of all of that,
Oh my gosh, so
I
fun.
know, and I'm like,
What color? What color? What color?
white,
Cool.
but it's
Clean
got like,
classic. Florida.
yeah,
Yeah.
like so many ideas, like so many projects and stuff, and it's like, I don't know, it's just weird when you experience things in a way of like the feeling, the emotion, the expression. I bring up the car for one example only. Like, it's being able to have the things that you want, the things that are going to give you the most joy, but at the same time, that can still be practical and still be usable and
Mm-hmm.
reliable and dependable. Like, it's great to have a $5,000 guitar. Can you afford a $5,000 guitar? Do you need a $5,000 guitar? You
We
know?
all need it, but can we all afford it?
Afford it.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, my favorite guitar that I play for all my live shows is a $350 Laguna that I got when I was 17, and that's my gigging guitar that I play every Friday night when I got a show. You know. I'm surprised this is the first time my accent has come out.
What accent?
Exactly.
Damn.
I got a couple of them, so, like, I get really confused when it gets into, like, Irish, Canadian, Scottish even. They just kinda, like, do that.
The thing for me is because I lived in Israel for a 4 year, I really had a opportunity to learn to speak like Israeli person. So yeah, I can do an
Wow,
Israeli accent quite well.
that was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be able to do French very well too.
French is hard. It's very nasally. So,
Non, mais non, all you have to do is go, maybe, oh là là,
"Oh
oh,
là là, bonjour, Gigi. No, no, no."
bonjour Georgie. No.
Okay,
I am French and I hate speaking with my French accent because it sounds so ridiculous. So I don't.
wait
I
a minute.
mean,
Are you
like,
Canadian?
no, I'm French. Canadian is French too, I guess, if you're being technical. My mom, who is from France, would be very like, Canada is not French. She'd say no to that.
Well,
She'd say, no, that's not how that
Quebec
works.
will argue with you on that. They will
Good
claim.
fishing in Quebec. Do you watch Letterkenny? Have you ever heard of that show?
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna change your fucking life. Watch Letterkenny. Everyone, attention. Letterkenny. It's on Hulu, I believe.
Letterkenny. Okay. So
Yeah.
letter and then the word Kenny.
Yep, it's a town in Canada,
It's a town in Canada.
and it's a TV show.
And they made a TV show about this town. Very interesting.
It's fictional. It's
Okay.
got great writing,
Okay.
but they joke about Quebec.
Okay.
I'm not joking about Quebec. I have no beef, except for when they come and they drive like goofballs down here in South Florida. You ever see the Quebec license plate? And I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Generally
Well,
bad.
yeah, I mean,
But
one of the biggest problems I think living down here in South Florida is the traffic.
live, laugh, love it.
Oh, it's peachy. Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah, here's the scene. Okay, you ready for this? Down here in South Florida, you go to the left lane. A person's going 20 miles an hour. Why? Because they have to make a left turn. That's 5 fucking miles away. They're going
Yeah.
20 miles an hour in the left lane.
And they have their hazards on as well for some reason.
Yes.
They don't know they do, but they do. Yeah. They start swerving a little bit too. Oh, then they just brake for no reason. And then there's the taxi drivers that drive on the sidewalks. That's one of my personal favorites.
Mm-hmm.
South Beach? Oh god, yeah. Because there's no space. They
No,
gotta go on the sidewalks to get around the traffic. Otherwise, how are you gonna get anywhere? South Beach.
exactly. Right. Break the law and almost kill like a dozen people at the same time, but who cares? It's South Florida.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Oh god. See.
Are you gonna clip this up and do some highlight stuff? How do we
Well, I'm
when is
gonna
this coming out? I don't even know.
I well, this is gonna come out in like mid-July, so it's gonna be a little bit because I do episodes weekly. I know.
No, it's cute. No, I'm glad. That gives us time to advertise it.
Yeah, we do have time to advertise. Well, I make pod clips. If you want, I can always send you pod clips if you'd like to post them.
I think I want a pot clip.
Okay, I'll make you a pod clip.
And a pot clip. By the way, speaking of pot clips,
Yes, I love that pod clips.
my my cousins and they're from Nashville, Tennessee. They make hit clips, I think, are what they are called, and it is like these jewel. I'll show you. I have mine. I'm gonna grab one. No, I'm not
Sure.
mine. It's too far away. Okay, it's like this
Yeah, show me
jewel
afterwards.
stick. Yeah. And it has a little clip, and it's for when you're smoking your J's. But it's like this beautiful, like a jewelry stick with a little clippy and hit clips.
I gotta see
I
this.
feel,
You
I
gotta.
feel fabulous when I smoke. No, I think everyone does. I'm just wearing a silly skirt, so I'm like, don't look at my bottom. I don't even know where my weed bag is. Hold on.
Well, I think one of the coolest things about especially vape products is they
I didn't hear anything.
oh, I'm sorry. No, I was saying that the one of the coolest things about vape products is they all come in these like funky little like fun things. Oh my god, is that a oh my god, I want
So
one of those. Yes,
yeah,
to
so
hold
you
your
put your
joint.
J, yeah, and then it goes. It's so like sturdy too, you know. So you just
Very fancy. You know, like you can be like
yeah,
doing that in a bathtub with like a glass of wine.
yeah. It's like
listening.
I gave all my girlfriends these for Christmas last year.
So
I
like
was like, "We all need these. These are fabulous."
so we gotta make the picture for everybody over here, okay? Like imagine yourself in the bathtub, you got a joint, you got that thing holding, you got Leah Simmons music's playing in the background, follow
Candles.
through, you got red wine, got some
I
candles.
thought red wine too. Tea for our straight edge warriors.
There you go. Now you have a place to listen to your music in the
Uh,
bathtub
with your hit clips.
with your hit
Great
clips.
advertising from my cousin, by the way.
There
She'll
you
be like, "What are
go.
you talking about? You
Oh my
talked about
god.
it." No, I'm just
Yes, we
kidding.
did.
I love her.
I'll leave a link below if anybody wants to find
Maybe
them.
like the Instagram.
Yes.
I
So,
was thinking I should make a custom batch with her and sell them on my website.
ooh, can you imagine if
For
there were
money.
like guitars?
There's an idea.
Yep, guitars. Like imagine a guitar, like, and then yeah,
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 I like that idea.
yeah.
Okay, I see it's the end of our time. It's an hour.
Yay!
It happened. We did it.
Oh my god, we did an hour. Question for you. If anybody wants to find your work, wants to pester you and bother you on social media, where can they do that?
Don't. Don't pester me. I'm really busy and stressed out. But you can reach out to me on my website. That's a good place, probably. LeahSimmonsMusic.com. You can definitely follow me on social media. I'm just big at it. That's also Leah Simmons Music. Basically, just Leah Simmons Music. Look it up, and everything will show up. You know, I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on my own website. On my website, I have merchandise. I have some pretty cool designs for
Yes,
some
she
shirts
does.
on there. Yeah, I have a
Yes.
couple shirts, and it also has my shows where I play locally in South Florida on there too. And you can listen to my music for free. So,
Black Flamingo.
LeahSimmonsMusic.com.
You play at Black Flamingo, which is a really cool
I did.
brewery in Pompano Beach. If anybody wants to check it out down here or coming to visit.
Yeah, and it has really good acoustics. Actually, the sound there is phenomenal.
Oh,
And
yes.
they have a monitor on stage for the performer, which I like a
Ooh,
lot because then you can hear
nice.
yourself. Not a lot of places do that, so it's nice when you get a place that does. Black Flamingo is great for that.
Great plays. And
Yeah.
honestly, like, I can't thank you enough for coming on and talking about your music and your experience and, like, hear us, like, supporting here local Florida, South Florida, and a lot of shit down here, but we love the arts, we love the creativity, and it's great to be able to experience it at its finest.
I love
So,
it. Thank you for having me, though. This was
of
so fun. I'm so
course.
glad that music brought us together, and here we are.
Yes, we are.
Yoo! I love it. So
So,
fun.
with that, check out Leah's work and shit and all the incredible stuff and merch. And be sure to like and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Lost in the Groove Pod.
YouTube! Sorry.
At Lost in the Groove Pod. So, with that, we'll catch you on the next episode. Stay groovy, my friends. We love y'all. Rock and roll, baby.